This is Victor Van Allen, riding his bike on this silent country road. He is heading home to wife Melinda and daughter Trixie. They live in a small town in Little Wesley, Louisiana. Vick is a tech businessman who has developed sensor chips for troops that helps them locate people. His invention was taken on by the US government, who uses it to make war drones to help them fight wars. This allows Vick to earn enough money to enjoy life. Vick arrives home to find Melinda sitting on the staircase waiting for him. Vick asked what was going on, but she said nothing, then remained silent and entered the house. Later that evening, Melinda asks Vick to pick out a dress for her as she prepares for a party. Vick compliments her on how lovely she looks in the outfit she already has on. She also asks him to help her put on her shoes. Vick responds as a gentleman should, by helping her to put her shoes on. She then asks Vick whether he knows that she loves him, and Vick merely stared at her without responding. Later at the party they drank alcohol, ate and chat with friends. A young man arrives. Melinda waved to him. It's a friend of hers named Joel. Melinda wasted no time. She took Joel outside to a private area and start kissing him. Vick stares at her through the window, but that didn't stop Melinda, though she knows Vick is watching. Then one of Vick's friends, Mary, comes up to him and expresses her worries about Joel and Melinda interaction. Vick assures her that he is not troubled by what she is doing and that they both love each other, and he loves her just the way she is. Melinda enters the party once more and begins to play the piano. Vick approaches her and simply smiles, reassuring her that what she did with Joel was okay. Joel thanked Vick for letting him spend time with Melinda. Later, in a private conversation, Joel warned Vick that some males can be a little jealous and he is glad he is not that type. Vick inquired about Joel's knowledge of Martin McRae, who had vanished a month before. Joel said yes, he had heard of him, Vick later confessing that he had been Melinda's prior partner and that it was he who had caused him to vanish. Vick tells Joel that he is serious when he says that Joel just laughed at the story and claims he doesn't find it humorous. Joe then flees from the party out of fear without saying goodbye to Melinda. When Vick and Melinda were about to leave the party, Melinda asked him if he had spoken to Joel. When he replies that he didn't, she says that he must have done so because he overheard them chatting and he changed after that. They then leave for home. While the babysitter is still present, Melinda takes off her top and starts moving around the home while partially naked. Vick apologized to her for Melinda's actions. Shortly after, Vick approaches Melinda and helps her remove her clothes. She tells him that Joel might be stupid, but he turns her on. Melinda then tells him to close the door on his way out. Here it is revealed that they truly have an understanding whereby Melinda is free to have sexual relations with whoever she chooses. In exchange, she is obligated to remain with him and Trixie and cannot divorce him. Vick is concerned for his daughter and his family. He consequently commits to upholding the agreement's provisions. The next day, Vick dropped Trixie off at school and then headed out when he ran into his friend Jen. Jen had heard that Vick had been killing people, and she asked him if he had killed Martin McRae. Vick responded that it was a joke, and the two parted ways after making plans for the next party. Vick met some friends, and they expressed their concern about Melinda's activity. Vick tells them all that it was a joke. He uttered to keep them away from his wife. After the rumors soon spread among everyone and they kept questioning him if he killed Martin. When Vick got home, Melinda was upset with him since she had also heard about the killing of Martin. She challenges him regarding the rumors of her missing lover and requests that he apologizes to Joel. Additionally, she indicated that Joe had already been asked to dinner on Friday. When Joel arrives at Vick's house for dinner, Vick welcomes him and gestures to him to take a seat. Joel then thanks Vick for the grilled sandwich and informs Melinda that he will be moving to New Mexico the following week. Upon hearing this, Melinda requests that Victor put Trixie to bed and read her some bedtime stories so that she and Joel can have some alone time. After, Vick agrees and leads her to her bedroom. When Vick returns downstairs, he sees Melinda and Joel dancing and having a good time. Melinda is on her way to the restroom. She orders Vick to give Joel another drink and then goes up to Joel, who had arrogantly asked Vick for an apology. To Joel's surprise, Vick once more informs him that he killed Martin with the hammer. Joel is advised to depart before suffering the same fate as Martin. Vick told him his Uber is here. He said he didn't order one. Vick told him he did. Several days later, the family is seen at a gathering where they meet Don Wilson, a screenwriter, and his wife Kelly. Don assures Vick he is doing a wonderful job after asking about his business. Kelly was asked to dance by Vick, and when she agreed, they got to moving. Melinda is jealous of Vick's dancing and observed them closely. As they travel back to their house, Melinda asks Vick if he feels Kelly to be more attractive than her. Vick acknowledges it with a facial expression. She tries to outdo Kelly, and they got intimate. The following day, Vick and Melinda are watching Trixie play with her pals at school when his bank calls to warn him of a suspicious transaction made from Melinda's account to a piano instructor named Charlie Delisle. Vick locates Charlie and visits him in person after making calls to a few of the live music establishments. Unexpectedly, Melinda follows suit and enters the restaurant. Laughing and interacting with Charlie, Vick discovers that she began meeting Charlie behind his back. Melinda gets home the next morning. She spends the night with Charlie. Vick approached Melinda after waiting for her and requesting that she cease seeing Charlie for Trixie's sake. Melinda refused and informed Vick that Trixie was his decision, not hers. She tells Vick in detail how she spent the night with Charlie and how pleased she was with him. Vick told her that Martin McRae was dead. They found the body. That upset Melinda. Later at their friend's home, the entire family was taking part in a pool party. Unexpectedly, Charlie was also invited to the celebration, so Melinda rushes to see him. She introduces Charlie as a piano instructor and brings him to meet Vick. Vick returns the greeting, pretending not to be aware of their continuous relationship. Later, Vick looks for Melinda and one of his friends tells him she is upstairs as he is going up the stairs. He saw Melinda and Charlie exiting a room. Later, Melinda inches closer to Charlie in front of everyone in the pool. Suddenly it started to rain. Everyone runs inside the house as it begins to pour. Vick and Charlie are still in the pool. Sometime later, Vick enters the house with everyone else and begins having trouble eating. After failing to locate Charlie within the building, Melinda walks outside to search for him. Charlie is floating in the pool. She shouts for assistance. Everyone jumps in the pool, and they work together to rescue Charlie after unsuccessfully attempting CPR. Later, the cops show up and immediately begin questioning those there. Vick denies drowning Charlie, but Melinda accuses him of doing so. Vick's claimed that Charlie was drunk when he went to the pool, but when he left, he seemed okay, so he went inside. Melinda continues to blame Vick. After arriving home, Vick sends the babysitter home. Even though the police have not suspected anyone, Vick questioned Melinda about her desire for a divorce. After learning that she thought he killed Charlie, Vick asked if she thinks he killed Charlie, why is she not afraid of him? She told him it's because she is what he kills for. The next day, while Vick is riding his mountain bike home from Trixie's school, he notices that a car is following him. Kelly tells him that Don still believes that he killed Charlie and is making bizarre theories with Melinda. When confronted, Melinda simply responds that she is not afraid of him, and they part ways. The following day, they invite Don and Kelly to dinner at their house. Soon after they arrive for dinner, Vick asks Don to stop telling everyone that he killed Charlie. Don, who still thinks Vick did it, asks Vick to take a lie detector test, and he agrees. A few days later, Vick is strolling through the market looking rough. He then discovers the same vehicle that had been following him a few days earlier. This time he spotted cameras and other equipment inside. He then turns to look around and notices Melinda chatting with a random person. He interrupts them. The stranger introduces himself as David. He is a psychiatrist. Vick is aware that David is a private eye that Melinda and Don have hired to keep an eye on him. Vick shows up at Don's place shortly after and claims they hired a private eye to spy on him. Don initially tries to deny the accusation, but when Vick produces a bank statement proving Melinda transferred funds to his account, he was left speechless. One day as he is returning home, he sees Melinda enjoying her time, exploring the city with another man. Vick then found out his name is Tony, a former college flame of Melinda. Tony now works in real estate. The following day, Melinda invites Tony over for dinner and tells Vick that Tony was the first American boy she had ever had a sexual encounter with. Tony was shocked to hear Melinda speaks like that in Vick's presence, but she told him not to worry about Vick as he couldn't care less about what she does. Vick is upset by this. However, later when Melinda and Tony are having a private moment in his bedroom, Vick pretends to be amused and acts friendly toward Tony. He then becomes envious, which causes his rage to intensify. After a few days had passed, Vick approached Tony as he walked to his car and tells him that Melinda wants him to visit more than just new housing sites, and there was a site she wanted him to look at. Vick said he will take him there. Tony hops into Vick's car and follows him. He starts driving erratically into a remote area of the woods. He asks Tony about his relationship with Melinda and why did they break up. When they arrive, Vick then stops the car. They get out. As Tony walks ahead, he was struck on the forehead from a stone that Vick throws at him. Tony responds by apologizing, saying he is sorry, but Vick hits him again while he is falling down a steep bank. Tony eventually perishes after hitting his skull on a riverbed rock. Vick then took Tony's wallet. He then pulls his lifeless body into the river and sinks it by fastening some stones to it. When he arrives home, Melinda suggested they take Trixie and have a picnic at their hiking location the following day. Vick agrees and thought it was a good idea, even though he knows that's the same area where he left Tony's body. The next day they arrive for their picnic. He talks to Melinda. He tells her that he loves her for who she is, and that he won't ever abandon her. Melinda wants to know why he is the only man that wants to stay with her. Vick then offers Melinda a photo book with the covert photos he has taken. As they relax, Trixie straight off close towards the area where he dumps Tony's body. He went to get her and told her she is too close to the edge. As he leads her away, he looked over and saw Tony's body floating. While in the car on their way home, Melinda informs him that she has left her scarf at the picnic area. Vick told her he will return first thing in the morning and retrieve it. The next day Vick races towards the picnic area to retrieve the scarf but mainly to hide Tony's body. Melinda, on the other hand, looks for Vick all around their home and eventually makes it to the basement, where she discovers Tony's wallet in a box. She concludes as a result that Vick murdered Tony and each of her past lovers. While Vick is using a stick to try and push Tony's body to the bottom of the river, Don suddenly appears out of nowhere. He continues to walk closer to the river while speaking to Vick. Don asks why he is standing in the water. Vick makes excuses and attempts to evade the topic, but Don notices Tony's arm floating. Fearing Vick, Don climbs up the bank and enters his vehicle and tells Vick to catch him. Don threatens him, telling him he is going to go to jail. He tries to make a call as he sped down the country road. Vick rides his mountain bike chasing Don, but the bike is no match for the car, so Vick went cross-country using a shortcut trying to cut him off. As he emerges through the woods in front of Don's car, Don swerved to avoid running Vick over. The car smashed through the woods and crashes into the river, instantly killing him. Vick goes back home after learning of Don's death. Melinda is waiting for him there, just like she did at the start of the movie, sitting on the staircase. She gives him a long look before telling him that she saw Tony, implying that she knew what he did. Tony's wallet is burned by Melinda at the film's conclusion. That concludes this recap of the movie Deep Water, released in 2022. Please like and subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching.